everyone, this is Doxy Mom and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, I'd greatly appreciate if you hit that little red subscribe button. You can ring the bell for notifications, and if you like this video, just give it a thumbs up. Well, Miss Peanut and I, we're here to bring you the news in 15 minutes or less, so let's get started. Now, I found some very interesting tweets and interviews on Heedin Music page, and I'll leave a link. The Columbia Bugle put out a tweet with a clip of our president in the Oval Office speaking to reporters. And the reporter was talking about the people at the North Carolina rally and how they started chanting, "Send her back." Well, then President Trump, he pointed out that there are some things that he is unhappy with, such as a congresswoman who hates our country and says anti-Semitic things. He's unhappy that another congresswoman can call our country and our people garbage. Now, he says those people that were in that packed stadium in North Carolina, they are incredible patriots. But he's unhappy with when a congresswoman says, "I'm going to be the president's nightmare." And President Trump said that she's lucky to be where she is because the things she has said are a disgrace to our country, and I totally agree with you, Mr. President. Then, President spoke to some reporters outside the White House on July 19th, and first he said that Iran is in big trouble, and right now their economy is crashing. They're trying to bring soldiers back home because they can't pay them, and a lot of bad things are happening to Iran. He says it's easy to straighten out, or it's very easy for us to make things worse on them. So, we just need to keep Iran in our prayers and pray that they'll stop the terror and just come to Trump's negotiating table. But then Trump goes on to say that China has had its worst year in 27 years, where we've had our best year. And our farmers, well, they're doing great since he's giving them some of the billions of dollars from the tariffs that we've put on China. So thank you, President Trump, for taking care of our most important farmers. And then he talked about the lopsided impeachment vote and said that at some point the Dems have got to stop playing games. Then he goes on to say that he will not be watching Mueller's testimony, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Then he talked about the squad. Several times during the interview, he said, look at the horrible statements that they have made about our country and Israel, and it's a disgrace, and let's never forget, we're dealing with people who hate our country and called our country garbage. Well, I totally agree with you, Mr. President. And then, Ilion, she proposed a resolution earlier this week, and it's about defending a boycott of Israel. And you know what? These four congresswomen, they just need to go. Moving on. Now, Jim Jordan, he tweeted out that he was in an interview on Hannity with Greg Jarrett, and they were talking about the Steele dossier, that it was complete garbage, but they took it to the court anyway, and if it wasn't for the dossier, they wouldn't have gotten the warrant to spy on Carter Page, which led to spying on President Trump. And Jim Jordan goes on to say that Jim Baker, the chief counsel of the FBI, then told them in his deposition that he reviewed this FISA, one of the very few he ever reviews, because normally he doesn't review them. So let's see, they knew from the start that this thing was a problem, and they just did it anyway. Well, then Hannity asked about James Comey and how he had signed that FISA warrant in 2016, but in January 2017, Comey told the president that it was salacious and unverified. So, which is it, James Comey? Now, I think we all know why Comey signed that warrant, and then there were 3 more FISAs signed by Andrew McCabe, Sally Yates, and Rod Rosenstein to allow the spying to continue. Now, Jarrett said that they were lying to the court, and that's a felony. And he goes on to say that he guarantees us that the IOG report, or the OIG report from Horowitz, well, he has the goods on them. So we are all praying that he does, and we are all anxiously awaiting that report. Now, Christina Layla at the Gateway Pundit, she reported that a Somalia-born Canadian journalist, her name is Hoden Nalaya, she traveled last week to Somalia to prove that Somalia is beautiful, to challenge the stereotypes, and to tell uplifting stories. And she even posted some pictures on Twitter showing how much fun she was having, over there. But then tragedy struck, guys. On July 12th, Al-Shabaab terrorists stormed the hotel in Kismayo where Hoden and her husband were staying, and they, along with 24 other people, were killed. And if this wasn't sad enough, a Canadian news outlet said that Hoden was pregnant. So this is just terrible, guys, and we just need to pray for all the victims, and we need to pray for those terrorists that they find Jesus. Now, the Gateway Pundit is reporting that a British politician, David Smith, from Middlesbrough, has been pushing for gender-neutral bathrooms in the Middlesbrough council buildings. Well, he's been charged with 9 counts of sexually touching a child, and he's due in court on August the 7th. But, of course, he's denying the charges, and guys, I just can't ever remember in my lifetime just hearing so many stories of people being arrested for sex crimes. So, several weeks ago, I had reported that George Nader, he was the key witness in the Mueller probe, who was already facing child pornography charges, and his latest indictment came down in federal court on Friday in connection to taking a 14-year-old boy on an alleged trip to Europe where he is accused of engaging in sex acts with this child. Now, Nader, he was already a convicted child rapist. He was found guilty of sexually abusing at least 10 minors in the Czech Republic back in 2003. But he was only sentenced to one year in prison. Guys, this is awful. So authorities, they plan to keep Nader jailed until he stands trial, and his first court date is September 30th. Now, these child predators, they have to pay for their crimes against children, and we just have to pray for the abused. Now, one of my wonderful subscribers, Barbara M., she told me about this video from Candace Owens, who I love, and I'll leave a link. But Candace and a film crew went to Broward County, Florida, and they toured all the prisons, and then they went inside of one of the ICE immigration centers. And Candace says this about the center, that it is nicer than the Stanford, Connecticut public schools that she attended. The walls are colorful. There's clean nursing station that the people have 24-hour medical care. The dining area is nice, and if the immigrants want to help in food preparation, they can, but it's not required. They have arts and crafts, Zumba classes, a sand volleyball court, and a soccer field that's in the courtyard where they can play anytime they want. There's a library, and there are phones that they can use up to a certain time each evening. They have a foosball table and several pool tables and basketball courts. And these people are treated great. And Candace described the rooms as like a really nice dorm room and just a really nice school. And, of course, the Dems, they have made up a completely fake and false narrative about this facility. And Candace goes on to say that she went to college at the University of Rhode Island, and these rooms are nicer than her college dorm rooms. They're triple the space and much cleaner. She says these people are spoiled when they come into our country. Plus, there's a barber shop and a hair salon if you want to get a haircut and a color. So, Candace, now she is really upset in this video I'm going to link, and she uses quite a bit of profanity. But, guys, we should all be upset about how the Dems have lied, about how these people are being treated, and how many of these people live better than people in America. Now, I'm going to leave you with something funny. This is a tweet from Benny at Benny Johnson, and he says on his Twitter, he's got 4 lines of ha 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 ha, because Bernie Sanders is demanding $15 for minimum wage per hour, yet his campaign workers make less than that. So they're using his words to protest for higher wages. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And until next time, I'm Doxy Mom, and God bless you all.